What binoculars should you take on a big trip? That's exactly what I was trying to figure out before our last trip to Arizona, late 2024. We had a bunch of places to see, but obviously the Grand Canyon was the main event. Now, we didn't have time to hike all the way down, but we really wanted to see the landscape up close. The depth, the layers, the details. This place has been forming for millions of years, and we wanted to see as much as possible. So, lucky for us, I've got a bunch of Vortex binoculars in different sizes and models. And after thinking it over, I took just one. Seemed like the perfect choice, but I was wrong. And you might be surprised why. Well, I shot a ton of footage through them, so you'll see exactly what I saw. What it looks like with the naked eye versus what you get through the lens. And after using them out there, I've got some real thoughts on picking the right binoculars for travel. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what actually makes sense to bring. I'll break it all down. It's gonna be interesting. So let's get into it, and welcome back to Sports and Gadgets. I've got a few different Vortex binoculars in different sizes and series, so I had options. Vortex has been my go-to for any outdoor use, so if you're into traveling, I definitely recommend checking them out. I've taken them on all kinds of trips: hiking, wildlife and bird watching, stargazing, even filming the moon and a comet. We actually have a video on that if you want to check it out. Since we had a packed schedule, I didn't want anything too bulky or heavy, so the Razor 18x56 was out right away. An 8x42 or a 10x42 is usually perfect for travel. They're light, pretty compact, easy to carry, and give you a nice wide field of view with 8x magnification. A solid all-around choice for serious hiking and wildlife observation. But for the place like the Grand Canyon, I wanted a bit more magnification, because standing up there, everything just blends into one massive landscape. These rock formations have been shaping for hundreds of millions of years, and we wanted to see the details up close. So with binoculars, we picked up things we would have completely missed, like the Colorado River. That's the one that's been cutting through rock for millions of years and making the canyon deeper and deeper. With the naked eye, it was almost impossible to make it out down at the bottom, since everything just blended together. At first, we didn't even realize there's water running through the canyon at all. And yet that flow is what carved out this entire landscape and is still slowly cutting through the rock. So I went with this 12x50 Crossfire HD. Yes, it's a bit bigger and slightly heavier, but honestly, for the way we were traveling, the weight difference didn't actually seem like a big deal, but the extra magnification definitely was. The Crossfire 8x42 weighs around 24 ounces, while the 12x50 is around 29. That's just a 5-ounce difference, not exactly a deal breaker. It felt like the perfect middle ground. It offered great 12x magnification without being a pain to carry, and it still fit easily in my backpack. There is one thing to keep in mind. Crossfire is Vortex's most budget-friendly line. The body is aluminum, so it doesn't use the lightweight materials you get in their premium models like the Diamondback or Viper HD. So the Diamondback 12x50 weighs around 28 ounces, and the Viper 12x50 is even lighter, just 25. So if weight really matters to you, there are lighter options in every size. So on this trip, with some hiking involved, carrying my 12x50 Crossfire was completely effortless. I also used the Vortex chest pack that comes with every pair of Vortex binoculars. Super comfortable, stays out of the way, and keeps them fully protected. When we were hiking up a mountain above Sedona, I could pull them out in seconds and check out the entire city below. I could see details on buildings, streets, even cars moving around. Same with rock formations. You could actually see the texture, the layers. That's what I love about having 12x magnification. You don't just look at the view, you actually get to explore it. Those red rock formations used to be ancient sandy beaches and seafloors, slowly compressed into solid rock over millions of years. That deep red color is actually rust, and that's the same reason Mars is red. And a lot of the time we just carried the binoculars in hand, never felt heavy or like a hassle. And not once did they feel uncomfortable or like something I regretted bringing. The weight was never an issue. To be clear, if we were doing a serious hike down to the bottom of the canyon, dealing with extreme heat and carrying a ton of water, no question I'd take the lightest binoculars possible. Probably something like the Triumph or the Viper 8x42. When every gram counts on an extreme hikes, going as light as possible is the way to go. But for the regular national park trips like we had, the Crossfire 12x50 was perfect. What I didn't expect, and like I said earlier, this is where I messed up. There were 3 of us, and I only brought 1 pair of binoculars. The moment I pulled them out, they basically weren't mine anymore. We kept passing them around, which meant spending more time at every stop just to make sure everyone got a look. So if you're traveling with friends, be ready to share them. This is what the canyon looks like to the naked eye. From this distance, fine details like sedimentary layers and smaller geological features get lost in the atmospheric haze. You can still see the color variations in the canyon walls, but they lack precision and things like erosion patterns just blend together. With 12 times magnification, you're looking at millions of years of the planet history packed into these rock layers. The details, the way the sedimentary layers stack up, are incredibly sharp. Each horizontal layer is a different time period stretching back hundreds of millions of years. That light-colored rock at the top is skybob limestone, formed about 270 million years ago, back when this whole place was covered by an ancient ocean. Fossils of prehistoric sea creatures, corals and mollusks have been found here by geologists over the years. Lower down, the deep red layers are stained with iron oxide, basically the same rust that eats away at old cars. These sandstone and shales date back around 300 million years, when this land was a shifting mix of deserts, ancient rivers and shallow seas that came and went over time. The deeper you look, the further back in time you go. Way down at the bottom, you can see rocks that are around 1.5 billion years old. This is where the Vortex optical system really shines. It's a combination of high-definition glass with fully multi-coated lenses to cut down on light scattering. That's what makes it possible to see fine details like cracks and erosion patterns. What I love about Vortex is that you always get more than what you pay for. Even their budget models hold up better than some of the more expensive ones. And it's no surprise they are an official optics supplier for the US military. The lenses are top-notch, and that's the most important thing in optics. Plus, once you buy them, they're yours for life, thanks to the lifetime warranty. Doesn't matter what happens, even if you completely destroy them or burn them in the campfire, they'll replace them. No receipt needed, even 20 years later. For us, they've been #1, and I highly recommend them for any outdoor activity. Right here is a pinnacle, a towering rock formation. That's the last remaining piece of what used to be a massive landscape. Wind and water carved everything else, and even now it's breaking down. Through the binoculars, you can actually see fresh rock falls along the slopes. One day, even this spire will collapse. The Crossfire's phase-corrected prisms keep the contrast razor sharp. And that's huge because without it, edges would blur and fine details would disappear. Instead of just seeing shapes, you're seeing depth. The binoculars bring out these subtle variations, keeping the layers crisp instead of blurring into a single wash of color. So after all this, what's the best binoculars to take on a trip? I've got a clear answer now. I've tested different sizes and models on all kinds of trips. And first, think about how extreme your hiking is going to be. If you're going on a long hike or dealing with tough conditions, whether it's extreme cold, heat or high altitudes, carrying heavy gear or dealing with tough conditions, whether it's extreme cold, heat or high altitudes, go for something lightweight. I'd recommend the Vortex Triumph or Viper series and keep it 8x42 max. It's the perfect balance of size, weight and usability when every gram matters. But if you're road tripping, doing moderate hikes and want the best detail without adding too much weight, then a 12x50 is a sweet spot. You get that extra reach and clarity without it becoming a hassle to carry. And if you go with the Viper series, you'll get even better image quality in a noticeably lighter package. Well, I hope this guide helped you pick the right binoculars for your next trip. Hit that like button, subscribe for more useful content, and drop a comment to share your thoughts and experience. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.